My name. My name is not what matters. What matters is the vow I made, the moment breath returned to me. I swore that if I ever opened my eyes again, if I was ever given another chance to walk in this world, I would not stay silent. I would tell you what happened, every trembling word of it. She thought she had more time. I thought I had more time. The rhythm of a heartbeat convinces us of tomorrow, doesn't it? We plan, we wander, we cling to moments as though they are endless. But tomorrow never came. One moment she was here, the next, she was gone. And in the silence of death, in that weightless hush where the body lies still and the soul drifts free, Jesus came. He came. And he revealed the truth. Truth about her past. Truth that burned through every lie she had carried. And listen to me. This is not just her story. No, this is not just about one woman, or one death, or one revelation. This is about all of us. About you. About me. About the hour that waits for every living soul. Because what she saw, what she heard, what was revealed, will shake you. And once you hear it, you cannot return to life as it was before. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. Do you hear me? The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. And that is why I speak. That is why you are here. Before the silence of death, there was life. Or at least something I mistook for life. I grew up, always searching. Searching for a face that would turn toward me and say, "You are enough." Searching for a voice that would stay. I longed to be seen, not just looked at, but seen. And when no one really did, I went chasing shadows, chasing love in places that promised warmth, but left me colder than before. I wore smiles as masks. I laughed loudly, too loudly, so no one could hear the echo of my loneliness. At night, when the noise of the world finally died, I would stare into the mirror, lit only by the pale glow of a street lamp outside my window, and I would whisper questions I couldn't answer. Who am I? Why do I feel so unfinished? I thought, naively, desperately, that if I loved fiercely enough, if I poured everything into someone else, I could heal the fractures inside me. But the more I tried, the more pieces I lost. Each embrace left me emptier. Each promise broke against the stone of reality. And still, I wanted freedom. I wanted truth. I wanted to break the cage I could barely see. But here's the secret. I could not see the chains around my own soul. I thought I was running toward freedom, but I was running in circles, bound by wounds I would not name. Late nights blurred into early mornings, the clock ticking like a heartbeat I couldn't catch. I remember lying on the floor once, staring at the ceiling as if it might open up and finally answer me. But silence answered. Always silence. And yet, beneath that silence, something was stirring. I didn't know it then, but every choice I made, every memory I carried was leading me toward a threshold, a moment that would unmask eternity itself. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. Do you hear it? The echo behind the laughter, the whisper behind the silence. He was there, even then, watching, waiting, calling. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. And that truth was closer than I knew. And then it came. Not with warning, not with gentle footsteps, but sudden, like a thief breaking through the door of night. One moment, breath was mine. The next, it slipped from me like water through trembling hands. I remember it so vividly. The room seemed ordinary, just another day that blurred into the next. But beneath that ordinary hum, the eternal was waiting. I felt a tightness first, like the weight of a hand pressing against my chest. Then came the dizziness, the way the world tilted, colors bleeding together. And then, silence. Time, fractured. Seconds stretched into eternities. My body fell, but I didn't feel the floor. My lips parted as though to cry out, but no sound came. And suddenly, Suddenly, I was weightless. Do you know what it's like to feel the heartbeat you've trusted your whole life simply stop? To hear nothing? To realize tomorrow will never come? I thought of everything at once: faces, places, the sound of laughter, the ache of mistakes I never confessed, the small joys I thought I'd have more time to savor. It all came rushing in, like a river breaking its banks. I wanted to grab hold of something, anything, but there was nothing to hold. And in that moment, the questions I had buried for years screamed louder than ever. What happens now? Where do I go? Who am I when the body is gone? I was terrified, not of pain, I felt none, but of the unknown, of the vast, dark silence that opened before me. My mind clung to denial. This can't be happening. Not now, not yet. But denial dissolved. I was leaving, and as I slipped further, as the last threads of this world loosened their grip, I heard it. Not thunder, not music, just a whisper, steady, deep, undeniable. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. It shook me. It burned through the silence. It was not condemnation. It was invitation. A voice older than time itself, calling through the veil. I drifted, suspended between the world I thought I knew and the eternity I had ignored. The fear gave way to something else, something I cannot name, except to say, my soul knew I was no longer standing on earth. I was being carried, and what awaited me was nothing like I had imagined. And then, the veil tore. I was carried, lifted, through a silence so deep it felt alive. My body was gone, but I was not gone. No, I was more alive than I had ever been. At first there was only darkness. Not the kind that suffocates, but the kind that waits, the kind that holds its breath before the dawn, and in that waiting, a light began to bloom. Small at first, like a flicker, like a single flame, but it grew, oh, it grew, until it filled everything, everywhere, all at once. This was not the light of the sun, or a lamp, or fire. This was Him, the very substance of love made visible, the kind of light that doesn't just shine around you, it shines through you. It knew me. It searched me. It healed me, even as it undid me. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. I wanted to hide, but there was nowhere to hide. And strangely, I didn't want to hide anymore. The air, if I can call it air, was heavy with presence, yet lighter than breath. It was like standing inside a song that had always been playing, but that I had been too deaf to hear. A song older than stars, rising and falling like the tide of eternity. And I heard voices, not voices like ours, but currents of praise. They weren't singing to the light. They were singing from the light. The sound wrapped me, soaked me, broke me. I wept, though I had no tears. I was no longer bound by time or space. I was in the eternal. Colors shimmered, colors I cannot name. Rivers of living water rushed but made no noise. A horizon stretched before me, endless yet intimate, as if every corner of forever was close enough to touch. And in the midst of it all, peace. Not the fragile peace I had chased on earth. No. This peace was alive, like a heartbeat of God Himself. I was immersed in it, undone by it. I realized then, I had never truly known love. Not until this, not until now. And still, even in that unending beauty, even in that unbearable peace, something was stirring. Someone was coming. The light was not just light, it was leading me to Him. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. And then, He came. Not out of the light, not apart from it. He was the light. And yet, He was more. A figure, radiant yet human, uncontainable yet near enough that I felt He could touch my very soul. I cannot tell you how I knew it was Him. I just knew. Knew in the marrow of my being, in the fabric of who I was. Every question, every doubt, every resistance I had carried for years collapsed in an instant. It was Jesus. And his eyes, oh, his eyes, they were fire and water and eternity all at once. They saw me. Not the mask I wore, not the fragments of the life I had built. He saw me. He saw the hidden child, the broken lover, the restless seeker. Every secret I thought buried was laid bare before him, and still his gaze did not condemn me. It loved me. I felt naked, yet safe, exposed, yet embraced. His presence was not just overwhelming, it was the definition of truth. I had spent years longing for a love that could not hold me, and here, in his gaze, I found the love that had never once let me go. He did not need to speak, and yet, he did. His voice was unlike any sound, like thunder wrapped in a whisper, like oceans made into words. "My child," he said, and the word itself shattered me. My child, not stranger, not failure, not mistake. My child. My child. I know you. I know every wound. I know every longing. I know the shadows you carried, and I was with you. In them all. Those words pierced deeper than any sword, because suddenly, I saw it. Memories flickered before me. Every moment I thought I was alone. The nights of weeping, the searching, the restless choices. And there, he was. In the corners, in the silence, in the ache. He had always been there. I wanted to fall at his feet, but there were no feet as I knew them, no ground to collapse upon. And still, I collapsed inwardly, utterly undone. And then he said words I will never forget. The truth you seek is not of this world, but it is not hidden forever. You ran, you searched, you loved, you lost. But I never left you, and I have come now to show you what was hidden. I thought death was an end, but in his presence, I realized it was a beginning. The case is not done, neither is the work of God. And then, he showed me, not with words alone, but with vision. Memories unfolded, not like dusty photographs, not like fragile dreams, but living, breathing moments that wrapped themselves around me. I saw myself, young, searching, reaching for affection. I saw the ache of a little child longing to be held, longing to be told, "You are safe. You are enough." And I saw the silence that answered instead. Every moment of laughter I used to hide my pain, he uncovered it. Every night of tears muffled into pillows, every whispered prayer I thought went unheard, he revealed that he was there. He was there. He had been there all along. He let me see how I chased identity like a starving soul, how I tried to build myself out of the fragments of others' acceptance. I loved fiercely, desperately, hoping someone's embrace could mend the fractures inside me. But each time, the emptiness deepened, and then he spoke. What you thought defined you was never your name. I wrote your name before the foundations of the world, and nothing you carried has erased it. Those words shook me like thunder. I had lived as though my worth depended on the world's mirror, as though my failures were final, as though my choices chained me forever. But before him, I saw truth. My life was not a mistake. My soul was not lost. He let me see the patterns, the way brokenness repeated itself, the way longing turned to grasping, the way fear disguised itself as freedom. And I wept, because I finally understood. I had been trying to write my own story, while he had already written one greater. And even when I ran, he chased me. Even when I resisted, he loved me. Even when I thought I had turned too far, he had never let me go. Then he showed me the faces, oh God, the faces. People I had hurt, people I had loved, people who had loved me back in fractured ways. I felt the weight of every action, every ripple. It was not condemnation, it was revelation. He was showing me the cost of a soul's choices, the cost of mine. And yet, woven through the sorrow was mercy. Mercy like a river I could not stop. He was not humiliating me, he was healing me. The case is not done, neither is the work of God. I realized then, my life was not over. Even in death, he was not finished with me. Every wound, every longing, every shadow had been leading to this unveiling. What I saw shook me to my core. I saw people waking up, hearts ignited by the same truth that was breaking me open. But I also saw others turning away, choosing the shadow even while light was offered. My heart broke because I knew the choice is always ours. And his words lingered, echoing deeper than anything I had ever known. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. And then, the vision widened. What had begun as my story, my wounds, my past, suddenly broke open into something far greater. I was no longer just looking at my life. I was seeing the world. It was as if he pulled back a curtain, and beyond it, I saw the earth itself trembling under the weight of truth. I saw multitudes, faces without number, every tribe, every nation, every voice. Some turned toward the light, their eyes opening, their chains falling in an instant. I watched as hardened hearts cracked wide open, as forgotten prayers were answered in fire. But I also saw resistance. Faces turned away, clutching shadows as if they were treasures. Some mocked, some hid, some covered their ears. And I understood. Truth is always offered but never forced. Love invites but does not enslave. I saw rivers swelling, floods of mercy, floods of judgment, moving together as one. They swept across the land, cleansing, breaking, remaking. For some, those waters brought freedom, washing away years of pain. For others, they felt like fire, because they clung to what could not last. And through it all, his voice, "Behold, I make all things new." I make all? I wanted to weep, because I knew what this meant. The world is not abandoned. We are not forgotten. Even in our rebellion, even in our blindness, his hand is stretched out still. Then I saw sparks. Small, fragile sparks igniting across the earth. One here, one there, and then more. People awakening, people rising, people who had tasted emptiness and finally turned to the only fountain that could fill them. The sparks became flames, the flames became a fire, and the fire spread, unstoppable. The world will change when hearts bow. The world will burn with light when the children of God rise. I felt it. This was not a distant prophecy. This was happening now, already. The flood of his love, the fire of his truth. It was moving through time, pressing upon us even in this hour. Return to the fire. Return to the fire. Return to the fire. And with each repetition, the vision grew brighter until I thought I would be consumed by it. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. And then, just as suddenly as I had been lifted, I was sent back. There was no warning, no gentle descent. One moment I was engulfed in eternity, the next I was gasping, my lungs burning, my body heavy, broken, trembling under the weight of time again. It felt like being pulled from an ocean, ripped from waters of unending peace and hurled back into the dust of a world that had never understood me. I wanted to cling to the light, to stay where truth was everything. But I opened my eyes, and I was here, again. At first, I thought the fire inside me would speak for itself. I thought surely, when I told them what I had seen, when I shared the beauty, the terror, the mercy, the revelation, hearts would break open like mine had. But no. Instead, I was met with silence, with suspicion, with laughter that cut deeper than any knife. People tilted their heads, smiled politely, dismissed my words as dreams, delusion, a mind unraveled by trauma. Some mocked outright. Others shook their heads in pity. A few turned away before I could even finish. And I felt the weight of it, the cost of carrying truth in a world that doesn't want it. Do you know what it is to taste eternity? And then try to fit those waters into human words? It feels impossible. Language is too small. Hearts are too stubborn. Yet still, I cannot stay silent. I made a vow. The vow burns like fire in my bones. Even when they turn away, I must speak. Even when they laugh, I must whisper. Even when my own heart trembles, I must confess. Because the truth is not mine to keep. It is a sword, and I must wield it. The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. I carry that refrain like a wound and a promise. Every breath I take now is borrowed, and with it I must tell you what I saw, what I heard, what I know. The fire is real, the mercy is real, the hour is near. And though resistance presses in, though doubt whispers at my ear, I cannot bury this testimony. Because eternity is not a story, it is a summons. Listen to me now. Please, don't let these words pass you by like another story in the noise of your life. Because what was shown to me, what I was entrusted with, was not given for me alone. It is for you, for your soul, for this very hour. Jesus spoke, and his words still burn inside me. The time is short. The door is open, but it will not stay open forever. And I trembled. I saw faces, countless faces, hesitant, delaying, convincing themselves there was still more time. And then I saw them swallowed in silence, in separation, in the ache of too late. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. The air in your lungs right now, it is mercy, it is invitation. Return to the truth, return to the light, return to Christ. Return before the fire, return before the flood, return before the door closes. He is calling you. Even now. Yes, you. Not the person beside you. Not the crowd. You. He calls you by name in the dark. He calls you with a love you cannot outrun. He calls you with a mercy that still waits, even as time thins. Do not harden your heart. Do not trade eternity for shadows that will vanish in a moment. I know the cost. Believe me, I know the cost of leaving everything behind. It feels like death, but it is life. Real life. The only life. And you are not alone. You don't have to walk this narrow way in silence. That is why this channel exists, why Second Chance Survivors was born. Because we are the witnesses who should not be here, but are. We are the ones pulled from fire, given one more breath, one more chance to say, wake up. The time is now. Will you answer? Will you return? Will you let the mercy of Christ write a new ending to your story? The case is not done. Neither is the work of God. And now, here we are. The end of my words. But not the end of the work. I was given a second chance. I was pulled back from silence, from eternity's edge, and placed once more in this fragile body of dust and breath. Not because I deserved it, not because I earned it, but because mercy had one more thing to say. And I vowed, if he spared me, if he let me rise again, I would not waste another breath. I would tell the truth. I would carry the fire. I would whisper his name until my voice runs dry. So, here I am, kept alive only to tell you, do not waste your chance. He called my name in the dark. He called my name in the dark, and still he calls yours. This is not entertainment. This is not just another story on your feed. This is eternity reaching through the screen, touching your heart, asking you, will you return? Will you come home? Because one day, the lights will fade, the voices will quiet, the world will dissolve like smoke, and all that will remain is him. I was given a second chance. So were you. The case is not done, neither is the work of God. The case is not done.